this is the center of San Jose, the place where most tourists avoid. And this is the hospital, San Juan de Dios. It's like the central hospital of Costa Rica where all the specialists are. If something were to happen to you in Costa Rica, you would most likely end up here. If you have a private insurance, probably they would probably not take you here. You go to a more private clinic just around the corner. And another thing about how this is a public versus private hospital. I can remember someone, we had to bring someone to this hospital a while back, and it was at night, he was ill, and then he was like, they just said, okay, we don't have any wheelchair. He couldn't walk, and anyway, he was there, then everyone was sitting in the corridor. It was basically packed. And then it just became too much. We waited for about a couple of hours and nothing. And they decided, look, they needed to do, I don't know, some echography or I don't know, some things scanned like that. And just around the corner from this hospital, about 5 minutes by car, you have the massive, another hospital just there. And in that hospital, they were like, we got there, we parked the car in front, someone came out with a wheelchair, and just, it was absolutely amazing. And that goes to show you private versus public. It doesn't mean the service is bad. At least you still have something, you know, a sort of a socialized health system in Costa Rica. And that brings us to why the capital of San Jose is just never ever visited by a lot of tourists. Most tourists, first of all, there isn't much you can do. This is the main shopping street in San Jose, and a lot of the people you see here in San Jose, the locals come to do their shopping. Some people work in San Jose, others, I don't know, tourism. And the reason why, I wouldn't say tourism, it's just like going to the mall. If you don't want to go to the mall, you come to the center here of San Jose, walk around, eat, and then walk around some more, go into stores. Okay, and another thing here is that you've got a lot of choices, so a lot of people come here. But we're here to talk about tourism. First of all, the reason why you don't get a lot of tourists in this area is because most tourists and the way they perceive Costa Rica is very different. When people talk about Costa Rica, they often talk about the nature. So, if you're talking about nature, you're not going to find that in Costa Rica. For the simple reason that it's just a built up area with no tourist infrastructure in place. That said, there are, I think, 3 museums here in the center within walking distance of most of the hotels you have in the center and the stores. And those museums are pretty good. I think you had one talking about the history of Costa Rica, which is a good one. I think it's free for locals or even tourists. And then you have, I think, the history of gold or money museum. You have another museum on the other side, closer to the National Stadium, and that museum has a brief history of the first airport of Costa Rica that was built basically on the landing strip where you have the central park of San Jose. Interesting dogs. All right. So, and the interesting, someone really likes dogs here because this is another one. This is a cat, yeah, or it's probably a dog still. But anyway, so that is back to let's just walk past the marketing for underwear there. All right, so and when you don't have any nature or anything that most people, most tourists appreciate, and the fact that when you look at people in Costa Rica promoting their countries, the country, they never really talk about San Jose. San Jose is like fly into San Jose in the airport and then take a taxi or another flight and you go to the coast where the beaches are. And that is what people do, because what else to do here? So that is one of the reasons why, because most of the tourists would come here, stay for 2 nights if they have a flight to take really early the next day. So that can be, that's an interesting one. So, because they push hard on Costa Rica being the Switzerland of. By the way, I'm just going to take a detour here. I'll show you something that it's not as if San Jose is the most beautiful place. People don't think it is, but they've been actually investing in San Jose and improving some of the parks, making it safer. But still, the reputation is that, okay, this is a nice statue here. Just go up there and take a closer look. Fascinating thing about it is the faces. Just the detail, attention to detail. Amazing. Even the child has very. All right. I just thought a little detour there explaining San Jose and why most people don't come here. It's improved over the years, but the reputation just sticks because it's not promoted as a tourist destination, and there isn't sort of a tourism itself here. There isn't much. Most people just stay a couple of nights and then fly back, especially because the most touristic part of Costa Rica is like close to the volcano Arenal, and then you have what else? You have the beaches of Guanacaste in the north, and then you have like Jaco and all the areas there, whale watching, fishing, and all those good stuff that tourists like where tourists like to go and spend their money. So with that, you don't have enough time to visit here because you can't come here, take a selfie, and then say, oh, this is Costa Rica. People will be like, well, what's so special about it? Get away from the sound and the noise. Someone just gave me something. Oh, they're trying to, I don't know, to be spiritual, love, to find love, and God's going to help you find love, maybe? I don't know. All right, it's a bit quieter, so to say. So, because of that, most people is just come here, and if you're here and because your flight comes in late or too early, staying in San Jose is probably a good option because it just means you don't risk missing your flight because of the 5 hours, 6 hours trip, especially if you're coming from Guanacaste up north. It is a long drive, and by the time you get here, drop your rental. Now we need to cross the road here. By the time you drop your rental car, get into the airport, check in, it's just most people don't want to take the risk, so they stay around the San Jose area, and it's just a much practical thing to do. If you've noticed as well that there are a lot of brands here, like McDonald's, Pizza Hut, it's a lot of what's it called? The sort of Americanized shopping centers, and that is something that you see a lot in Central America, where most of the development in the area are a lot of American shops, American influence, the way people dress. It creates jobs, and these are global brands that you see in most major cities. And so these are some tourists here, and most likely it's a very busy Saturday. All right. I'm walking towards the park. All right, so this is where this main street tourists would go up and down, and you're not be impressed for the simple reason that the shops are the same type of shops you have in your at home. So why would you want to come and buy something here? And another thing is that Costa Rica is not cheap. So when people come here, just underneath here you have a museum. I'm just going to show you the National Theatre where you can go and listen to plays and what's it called? You can go and listen to plays and all these other interesting classical music or other things that you might enjoy. Culture, put it that way. So most of the hotels that people stay in are often in this area here. They're about like say 10-15 minutes walk and most people will just come here, stay for the night, walk around, eat at the local restaurants, and that's it. So this is the, what's it called? National Theatre, where people come to enjoy art and the plays and everything else. So this is the Grand Hotel here. This is one of the more popular and expensive hotels here. You still and per night it's like on the same price level as the US basically. And I think this is one of those reasons, that's partly the reason why most people also never come to San Jose, because, well, it's just too expensive. So if you're coming, it's when you go to London and you want to visit London, you have this expectation that, okay, I'm going to Buckingham Palace, I'm going to go and say hello to King Charles, or I don't know, you go to Piccadilly Circus, all those famous Trafalgar Square, famous landmark. Costa Rica, San Jose doesn't have any of those famous landmarks. So the only thing they have is the what's it called? The national parks. And they've got loads of those. So if you want to see if you whale watching, dolphins, you want to see, I don't know, deadly snakes, oh, they've got loads of those here. Basically, if you want the jungle experience, the beaches, Costa Rica has quite a few beaches, and a lot of tourists would visit there. San Jose is not part of the list, and that is, I think it's a shame, but you could also understand that most of the big hotel resorts are not located anywhere in San Jose. They are located in where you have all the tourist traps, and that means that most people just don't visit. So most people coming would also visit here, the museum here. This is the Museum of Gold and pre-Columbian time. This is actually worth visiting because they've got a lot of artifacts and the story. If you're into that or you're into culture, it's worth visiting. It probably takes a couple of hours to visit, and you have your hotel here. You're staying for the day, and then you're flying out the next day. This is actually worth it. And there are maybe 2 or 3 like those, and that's it. That's all there is to do in San Jose. Anyway, for tourists anyway. So that is a little story about why people don't visit San Jose.